Sa pagpapatuloy po ng tawag ng karunungan, amin pong ine-encourage kayo na makibahagi sa ating diskusyon. Pwede po kayong mag-text sa ating number 0917-572-1754 or mag-iwan po ng mensahe sa ating ongoing Facebook Live. Muli pong nililinaw ng TNK, FEBC na ang atin pong mga iniimbitahang kandidato dito sa palatuntunan ay hindi po nangangahulugan na amin po silang ini-endorso. Bagkus ito pong TNK ay isang paraan or isang venue po para maipaliwanag sa atin na mga kandidato ang kanila pong mga layunin at advokasya, gayon din po ang kanilang mga plano para po sa ating bayan. Kaya kaagapay sa inyo pong pagpapasya, nasa mga kamay niyo po yan kung sila po ay papasa sa inyo pong mga criteria para mapabilang sila sa mga iboboto ninyo sa May 13. Ngayong araw na ito, tayo po ay sasamahan sa atin pong one-on-one interview ni Professor Butch Valdes. Dati po siyang Department of Education Undersecretary at senatorial candidate ng Katipunan ng Demokratikong Pilipino Party. Magandang umaga po and welcome po sa Tawag ng Karunungan.
Magandang umaga sa iyo, Haydee, and to all of the listeners of your very popular station.
Prof, kayo po ang founder ng Citizen National Guard, founder and chairman po ng Katipunan ng Demokratikong Pilipino, founder and principal convener po ng Save the Nation Movement, at head din po ng Philippine La Rouge Society.
That's right.
Okay.
Yeah, we are, kasi hindi kami talaga mga politiko na pumasok dito sa sa electoral exercise, Haydee, na. Last year, katulad ng sinasabi mo ngayon, I've been leading different organizations. Ang pinupuntirya po ng aming mga kilusan dyan ay ang ating ekonomiya, ang ating soberenya, at ang mga karaingan dapat ng mga mamamayan natin tungkol sa sitwasyon natin, lalong-lalo na sa ating mga pamilya. At pagkatapos nakita namin, kaming mga nasa mga iba-ibang mga kilusan, last year, itong mga politiko, patalon-talon sa mga iba-ibang mga partido, pero wala naman talagang ginagawang mga pagsusuri o paghahayag ng mga problema ng ating mga ng bayan. Ang kanila lang layunin, pumunta dito sa mga kung sino-sino man may pera at kung sinong popular, no, para makisali dito sa kanilang mga party. Dahil dito, medyo sumama ang loob ng aming mga miyembro ng kilusan. At sinabi nila, kinakailangan na sumali na tayo sa boxing. Hindi na tayo dapat manonood, no?
Dati po kasi kayo yung prime mover po, isa sa prime mover ng candidacy po ng Pangulo, hindi po ba?
Hindi. Hindi. I was never part of the Duterte organization, no? But ang aming pong posisyon dito, nung sinabi namin ganito, kailangan magpahayag na tayo ng gusto nating mangyari para sa ating bansa. And this is why we decided, instead of being an audience, we decided to participate in the electoral exercise as a duty of kaming mga professionals. We're not really politicians. Ngayon, nung minention mo dito, tumutulong kami kay Duterte. No, as a matter of fact, personally, I can come out and say that I never voted for Duterte, no? But there is one thing that we have to know and realize and acknowledge, that this man, whatever our political feelings at that time, no, was elected by the Filipino people. He is a duly elected president. And it is our duty, no, as citizens of this country, to give our support where support can be given. Having said that, I also say that even if we support the president and we can see the direction of the country to be agreeable to us, it does not mean that we agree with all of the policies of the president.
Right.
We have many reservations about what his cabinet is doing, no? And we are openly criticizing what the president's cabinet does, no? In terms of finance, economics, and certain other areas in agriculture, no? That's why meron kaming Plataporma. We're the only party that can brag of a platform, and a program of governance.
So ano po yung nilalaman?
Ito po sa ekonomiya, sa agrikultura, sa foreign policy, sa education, at sa social welfare. No? In economics, I cannot tell the whole thing, but I'll give you the principle.
Yes,
no?
sir, please.
We have been in economics. We have been converted from what might have been a producer economy to a service economy. No? Instead of becoming producers of goods, no, we became service centers. No? We became culinary arts, nurses, caregivers, and now call center agents, and so on. So we're not producing anything. No? And this kind of economy is not going to stand. That's why we're forced to export our people to different lands, because as we produce college graduates, as we produce labor, no, our whole economy, being service, cannot absorb this. No? So puwersado tayong i-export sila.
Yes.
And this is not the way an economy should work. We don't think it is. No? Yun ang isa sa mga prinsipyo natin sa ekonomiya. We should not be the world supplier of domestic helpers. No? We must bring them here because this is what is needed by the country. Doon sa social welfare, sinasabi ko kanina, social welfare, because meron po tayong prinsipyo na notice that meron tayong kinalimutan na very important segment of our country. No, itong kinalimutan natin is the concern for the sacredness of the Filipino family. Anything that destroys the family, no, whether it be crime, drugs, and so on and so forth, must be rejected by society, by government, and by all of us. No? And including economic policy. If your economic policy is to export your people, no, it
at the
destroys the
expense
family,
of the
right?
family, yeah.
And you're nagugulat tayo bakit ang crime rate natin lumalaki tapos bumababa sa mga kabataan, no? Why? Because you have destroyed the family. You have exported their mother, their father, no? At nasisira.
Right,
And
right.
the society eventually is going to collapse. And we're in a
suffering
real
the
way, we're suffering of
consequences,
that.
yes.
And we're going even further down if we don't correct this thing. No? Importante po yan. Sa agriculture, no country can call itself a nation, no, who cannot feed its own people. We have all of the resources necessary to feed our own people. And so what we have been doing, instead of moving towards producing our own for our own sustenance and for the future, no, ang ginagawa natin, nag-i-import tayo. Bakit? Mas madali mag-import.
Yes.
Pag mas madali mag-import, it doesn't mean, no, our survival, no, is dependent on the production of another country. We cannot live according to those terms. No? We must be able to sustain ourselves if we want to call ourselves a nation. Agriculture has to be addressed. No? And the correct direction must be that. It must be science-driven. It must be infrastructure-based. No? And to be able to produce double, quadruple even what we produce for our own selves. No? So that the extra can be exported or can be prepared for the next generation and for greater ability to sustain a growing population. No? Ganyan po ang aming position. So foreign policy, anything that has to do moving towards world peace, away from world nuclear conflict, should be our foreign policy. No? Huwag tayong sumasali dito sa geopolitics na kakampi tayo sa Amerikano laban sa Inchik o kampi tayo sa Inchik laban sa Amerikano. What? That's geopolitics. No? Ours is sovereignty. No? And everyone must respect our sovereignty. Any global effort to move away from nuclear conflict is what we should adopt and what we should participate in. What are they? Right today, there is a global infrastructure project that's being discussed in China. Just today, it starts today in Beijing. Okay, it's about the BRI, Belt and Road Initiative. That is a global infrastructure project that is now being committed to by 50 different countries. No? And maybe even more. It should be 120 different countries that is going to construct a Belt and Road Initiative, railway, high-tech railway, maglev, 400 kilometers an hour, 1,000 kilometers an hour, running across the world, no? Connecting all nations.
Wow.
Okay? This is a great project. This is the only project of probably the human history that has been envisioned by certain leaders and suggested for participation by all countries. That is anti-World War. That is anti-nuclear conflict.
Yeah.
We must participate in this. No?
Parang unifying po kasi
Yes,
siya, no?
kasi if you are working for the betterment of the human population, no, why will you destroy it, right? So it is the antithesis of nuclear conflict of World War. That is that is our foreign policy. On education, we must gear ourselves towards engineering, science, and the best of classical culture. I mentioned to you that my favorite station is your station because of classical music. This is what I mean, no? Because classical music, especially those that are coming from the directions of Mozart, Bach, and all of that. Many countries, China, South Korea, even North Korea, they are all getting their children to study classical music. In China alone, there are 10 million students in piano, and over 1 million students in violins, and over 1 million in cello. No? China alone. Why? What is that? That's Mozart, Bach, Beethoven. Why? Because classical music encourages creativity of thinking, no? And they're starting from that young minds, no? Instead of what we see to be the degrading kind of music, no? that is influenced by drugs. No? You see, this is the counter to that deterioration.
So gusto niyo pong ma-incorporate siya sa education?
Yes,
wow.
Definitely. No? And we must start early because our children have been led towards crazy television shows, no? Making gay or LGBT as if though it was the most normal thing. No? Whenever I'm asked about it, I said I have my own personal sexual preferences, and I hope the gay community respects mine as well as I respect theirs. No? Because that's their thinking. No? Okay. But all societies ever since before have not been moved towards this. No? This is another area of deterioration of the family. You see, gay marriage is a deterioration of the concept of family. No? This is what our Katipunan Demokratikong Pilipino stands for.
Yes, sir.
This is the program in very brief terms that I have mentioned, Haydee. No? But there are 3 main issues, campaign issues, that we also put up front. The campaign issues is different from the platforms.
Yes.
Number 1 campaign issue is the tandem between Comelec and Smartmatic. We feel that the participation of Smartmatic in our electoral process is unconstitutional.
Okay.
Our constitution, there are constitutional provisions that says that Comelec is exclusively and originally the institution that should supervise and implement electoral processes. It cannot delegate any part of its function to another party. Much worse if it's a foreign corporation. Right? So we're addressing that. Its constitutionality. So sovereign issue. Number 2, the Deng Vaxia issue. The Deng Vaxia issue, I think, is the most heinous crime ever committed in the history of our country. Committed by the leadership of this country against its own people. Against its own people. This thing that has been done, wherein a leader of our country, despite the fact that he has been briefed that the Deng Vaxia is dangerous and can cause severe side effects of dengue and death, no? Still gave the instruction.
So you are pushing po na mapanagot po yung mga
Dapat
officials
1 million children to be knowing full well that
Na
800,000 of
siya.
them are in severe risk of even dying. No, dapat mapanagot siya. And our justice system, if it can be proven that this was done maliciously with the intent of killing children, I would. It's the first time I would advocate death penalty for mass murder.
Okay.
No? Number 3,
yes, sir.
very important. Number 3 is we are right now paying the highest electricity rates in the world. No? We're in the world. No? We are paying double the electricity rates that of the United States. Where the United States ordinary citizen receives 30% higher income than the Filipino, and yet we're paying the highest electricity rates. Why? Because President what's his name, Ramos, no, implemented the EPIRA law, no, started the EPIRA law, which privatized the whole electricity sector, no, transferred the responsibility of it to the private sector. Only 8 companies are now dividing up every year about 3.5 trillion pesos.
So you will push for lower electricity
Well,
rates?
we're going to push for the president to declare a state of emergency on the power sector, suspend the EPIRA law, and grant a 50% discount across the board on all electricity consumers.
Sir Butch, gusto namin maging fair sa inyo. So, ito pong mga issues na ito na gusto nyo ma-address and even your platforms ay nasa social media account nyo po. Hanapin lang kayo sa Facebook page na Butch Valdes. Dahil gusto po namin, sir, na madinig din yung ibang positions po ninyo sa iba't ibang issues of this society.
Yes.
Fast
Okay.
talk tayo, sir.
Yes.
One word lang po ito. Unang pumasok sa isip nyo, yun ang sasabihin nyo sa amin. Game, Professor Butch. Climate change.
Climate change. It's now being proven that the global warming fear-mongering is a hoax.
Okay.
It is not true that the whole planet is warming up. As a matter of fact, NASA has come up with many studies and says that it is in effect cooling. No?
Sir, pork barrel.
Pork barrel. This is what feeds political dynasties.
Okay. China.
China is a sovereign country, and we hope that they will respect our sovereignty as we respect theirs.
Okay. Minimum age of criminal liability.
It's the cause is the economic conditions no, that leave children without parents that are being reared by their communities and criminal elements.
Joma season, sir.
Joma season is enemy of the state.
Legalization of marijuana.
No, I will not advocate basically a legalization of marijuana. U.S. is a sovereign nation state and very much needed by the rest of the world. No? That's why we must see to it that the U.S. moves directly towards world peace.
EJK, sir.
EJK is a debatable issue. No?
Okay. Divorce.
Divorce is a personal issue, not a. It's like a peripheral issue.
Okay.
No?
West Philippine Sea, sir.
West Philippine Sea is a disputed area. There are disputed areas between 2 sovereign countries. The best way to do this is look for mutual economic benefit and let, without sacrificing our claim, no, let the future decide what that is. But in the meantime, let the 2 countries that are disputing it no, look for a way how to get economic benefit from it.
Okay. War on drugs.
War on drugs needs international cooperation.
Okay.
We need to call for an international summit so that we can exchange intelligence information because it cannot be fought alone.
Freedom of expression, sir.
Freedom of expression is sometimes there is too much of it. No?
Okay.
Freedom of expression requires a responsibility that you're expressing yourself correctly and without malice. No? If freedom of expression means fake news, no, then I don't agree with it.
Train law, sir.
Train law increases prices of goods. And the president, I think, was misled into thinking that it will bring it down. No.
Martial law in Mindanao?
Martial law in Mindanao is, I suppose, depends on the president's, if he finds it necessary, then
Minimum wage, sir?
minimum wage.
Dapat ba pare-pareho sa mga regions dito sa Metro Manila?
No, I think sa akin ang wages must be decided on a parity basis depending on the cost of living in the different areas.
Final two, sir, federalism?
Needs a lot more study.
Okay. And President Duterte?
I would give him a grade of about 85%.
Okay. Oo. Sir, meron kaming personal question dito with Miss Elaine. Bunot lang kayo ng isa para mas makilala namin kayo on a personal level. I will ask the question, sir. I will read it to you. Ayan. Okay, ito po ang ating tanong para kay Professor Butch Valdes. Ano po ang ginagawa ninyo during your free time? Busy po ngayon dahil campaign ay talagang pukpukan. Pero when you have a free time, sir, anong ginagawa niyo?
Noon I used to play golf. No?
Okay.
But ngayon, because of what we're doing now sa campaign, whenever it's free time, I go to sleep and rest.
Okay, sir. Tulog, ano? Okay.
Tulog, much needed rest.
Okay, sir, bibigyan ko kayo ng few seconds para po kausapin ang ating mga kaagapay. At ito po ang inyong camera.
Well, inihingi ko po ang tulong ninyo. Kami pong mga kabuuan ng KDP, 6 po kaming mga kandidato dito. Pinangunahan po ni Toti Casino, andyan si Glenn Chong, si Larry Gadon. Sabihin ko na rin ang number nila. Si Toti Casino is number 18.
18, okay.
Si Glenn Chong is 21. Larry Gadon is 32. And then si RJ Havellana is 39. And then Lady Ann Sahidula is 58. At ang inyong pong lingkod, Butch Valdes, is 61. Now, we are all one and united in wanting to do good for the country. We are professionals. We are not real dyed-in-the-wool politicians.
Okay.
But we want to do something for the country as a matter of duty. So magtulungan po tayo. Maybe we can do something about it.
God bless you, sir. And maraming salamat po sa panahon po ninyo dito sa Tawag ng Karunungan. Mga kaibigan, nakausap po natin si Professor Butch Valdes ng Katipunan ng Demokratikong Pilipino Party, number 61 po sa balota at tumatakbo bilang senador. Ngayon naman makakasama natin si Jay Banzuelo para po bigyan tayo ng gabay pa sa pagpili po ng pinuno sa liwanag ng salita ng Diyos.